At this point, I've played a few hundred turns with each of the factions in Total War Warhammer campaign, and I'd like to review the game, my experiences with the game so far. I'm going to make this a two-part video, and in the first video I'm going to talk about the good of Total War Warhammer, and in the second video I'm going to talk about the bad. I'm going to make multiplayer a completely separate video. The good is that there is quite a lot to keep the player's attention. In the beginning, there are... If you're familiar with Total War titles, there is nothing really new here. You have magic, but to be honest, magic was already in the other titles with the general's abilities. It's basically like that. You're either applying penalties to the enemy, or you are buffing your own troops. That's basically it with magic. Now, the difference being that you draw from a pool of magic, the winds of magic. So talking about the good, well, the game runs relatively well on my setup, and my setup, it's too much to go over in this video, but it's in the channel description. I have a decent computer, but it's starting to age a bit, although I'm having no problems running the game on. Let's see here what I'm running the game on. Yeah, everything from medium to ultra high. I have two GTX 980s. These are my settings. I haven't done that much, just tried different things. And it runs fine. I haven't had a single crash yet, which is good. Quite impressive, actually, considering this is Total War title. Usually they run like absolute trash for the first few patches, and after that as well. I think graphics-wise, they have been able to... I'm almost afraid to say it, but I think they have graphics-wise managed to nail the Warhammer world. It's pretty cool that once you get vampiric corruption in a province, it starts decaying. It looks very dead compared to the lush forests and the lands of the living. Same with chaos corruption. And another thing that looks quite good, I'm not going to win this siege battle, and I'm not going to fight it either. I'm just going to go in here and show you something. There are some very nice cities, castles, keeps in this game. However, part of the review is going to talk about just that. So yeah, this looks great. I mean, if you're just looking at the scenery here, it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks great. It looks like a huge city, which it is, with a keep in the background there and a castle and stuff. And the first time I saw it, I was like, shit, this is going to be an epic siege. Well, it wasn't. But that's a discussion for the other video. But things look pretty good. A lot of detail, and some yeah, the models are quite decent looking, I'd say. Very few models that are in the category of what the fuck were they thinking with that model. But to be fair, they've had I mean, the models are essentially made by Games Workshop over several decades. So the Creative Assembly just had to copy that. So in that sense, I mean, they had a very easy job with Total War Warhammer, because there's so much lore, there's so much design that has gone into the Warhammer world, so on and so forth. Now, the important thing, of course, is whether, when playing single player, is the single player experience immersive? Is it fun? Is it challenging? Uh, it's fun at times. It's not challenging, and it's where it's not. You have with immersion. I thought the quest battles could help with immersion, and quest battles are once your character reaches a certain level, then you can usually it's deploying an agent in a province, and then you have to win a quest battle, which doesn't seem to scale by character level or the army that you're bringing. So usually you're bringing a full stack and absolutely destroying a half stack or maybe a full stack of low tier troops, and then you get one of these armor sets. Or an item, and one of the good things is that you can customize your lord and heroes with something like banners. Banners can be dragged down onto units to get the effect that's stated on the card here. You also have the ability to customize armor, weapons, and these things give you a more or less tangible effect on the battlefield. Let's see, I don't have an arcane item here yet. Staff of Damnation, plus 34 melee attack. Scroll of Shielding, yeah, that's pretty good. Scroll of Shielding. Damage resistance, let's do that. In addition to upgrading your lord here, you can also, of course, upgrade your technology. Again, there are in this video I'm mainly going to be talking about the good. So the only thing I'm going to be saying about this is here's the technology tree. So whether it's immersive, to some extent, it's very good that they've taken out the various penalties for, let's say, being idle in a settlement that were in, at least in Rome 2, where every single Roman general would go insane and have negative traits, and it would sort of break immersion. That let's say a guy spends a few years learning, building up his army, going to the university and getting a degree in, let's say, politics, tactics, whatever, but in the process he becomes horribly disfigured, mad, and won't be able to lead a force effectively for the rest of his life. Now, is it realistic? Yes. Does it have place in a computer game that's supposed to be fun and immersive? There's always a balancing act there. So it helps with immersion that you can get attached to these legendary lords and heroes, and that they do survive forever, essentially. Because in other Total War titles, it would sort of be immersion breaking that an agent would come and have a 1% chance of assassinating your lovingly groomed king, and then he's gone. Every single thing you've done, making that guy the best general ever, and he's gone. Which is something you won't experience in Total War Warhammer, at least not with the legendary lords. The legendary lords are wounded and then they come back. So I think that's a relatively that's a good idea. Let's see if I can think of anything else that's good about this. I've showed several battle videos on my channel, so I'm not going to go in and just, or am I? No, I'm not going to show a battle now because there are no interesting battles to be had for the time being. So to summarize this up relatively quickly, the good things about Total War Warhammer: the factions are diverse. The factions that are in the game are diverse. You get a distinct feeling that you're playing with different factions, not just something Germanic or something like that. The game, for my rig, the game runs fine. No crashes yet. Stable. You get attached to your lords, wanting them to go and pick up their legendary items and do their quest battles and so on and so forth. And you do get the feeling that you're both playing a Warhammer game and a Total War game, which is good if you like Warhammer and if you like Total War. However, there are quite a few things that aren't good about this game, and I'm going to be talking about them in the next video. So if I was to rate this game on a scale of 1 to 10, I think for me this game is a 6 out of 10, and that is certainly better than Rome 2 was at release. Rome 2, I keep saying it was a broken mess on release, and some people agree, some people disagree. I couldn't get through the prologue. That's how bad it was. The prologue was broken, and the crashes were numerous, the performance issues numerous. Rome 2 was a broken mess. This is not a broken mess. This is a much more polished game than Rome 2 was at release, but it does have its issues. Maybe not the same kind of issues that Rome 2 had at release, but the issues are here, and I'm going to be talking about those in the next video. Strength and honor.